Hello again. Haven't talked to you in a while, so I thought I will do one on something which I get commonly asked about. I do see a lot of patients who have shortness of breath, and many of them want to have oxygen. One of the concepts that is very prominent is that oxygen is needed for breathing, and lack of oxygen certainly causes shortness of breath. So if I'm short of breath, if I use oxygen, then it will be beneficial. The thought process is not completely wrong, but there are two things that I want to discuss. If I can discuss them in one video, I will do it. Otherwise, we will do a couple of them. So let me start with the shortness of breath and lack of oxygen. Shortness of breath is a very subjective feeling that you cannot breathe or you are spending too much energy to breathe. Lack of oxygen is only one of the causes of being short of breath. Just to give you an example, if I have normal lungs and I'm running to catch my plane, I will be short of breath after running, carrying the bags. But if you check my oxygen, it will still be normal. So this is one condition where shortness of breath does not necessarily mean my oxygen is low. Let's take another example. If I'm if I'm lying down and a 200-pound guy sits on my chest, or there is a sandbag which is put on my chest, I'll be short of breath. But if you check my oxygen, it will be normal. What happened in each situation is different. There are many more conditions or situations that I can talk about where shortness of breath does not necessarily correlate with lack of oxygen. So in one case, which is where somebody is putting heavy stuff on my chest and I'm short of breath, it's because the work of breathing to lift my chest up and down to breathe is tremendously increased. So work of breathing in that case contributes to the shortness of breath. One has to remember that there is something called dead space. Dead space is the space in the respiratory tract where the air is moving in and out without exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide. If you can think of starting from the nose, throat, to the main trachea, followed by main bronchi, and like a branches of a tree, they finally end up in small air sac called alveoli. Now the air exchange, which is oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange, occurs only at the level of air sacs. So the air that is moving in between the nose, throat, larynx, trachea, and bronchi is not contributing to any air exchange. Just to kind of give you in general numbers, if my each breath is 500 cc's, approximately 150 ml is this space of trachea, bronchi, nose, throat, till it reaches the alveoli. So when I'm breathing only 350, 500 total breath minus 150, which is dead space, is actually contributing to the exchange of the air. So if I would increase my respiratory rate from 10, which is normal, to 20, I'm still doubling the total air movement. So 500 multiplied by 10 is 5,000 ml or 5 liter. If I would breathe 20 times, I'm multiplying 500 times 20, which is 10,000 ml or 10 liter. But in both cases, since the dead space does not change, I am actually contributing percentage-wise less air at the alveoli, or roughly about the same, but my workup breathing is tremendously increased. So in each case, 1/3 of the air movement is wasted, but the workup breathing is doubled. So I will be short of breath if I'm breathing faster because I'm wasting a lot of air. There are many more causes of shortness of breath. Clots in the lung is one of the common ones. Congestive heart failure, emphysema or COPD, scar tissues in the lung, pulmonary fibrosis, they all cause shortness of breath. In each case, the mechanism of shortness of breath is different. In case of fibrosis, for example, the transfer of oxygen and carbon dioxide is impaired. And certainly, if the oxygen drops, then the oxygen use will be helpful. Let's take a situation of oxygen exchange at the level of alveoli or the air sacs. So we are breathing 5 liters, as I just mentioned, of air, of which only 2/3 goes to the alveoli. 1/3 is dead space. Same way, probably about 5 liters of blood is flowing through the lung per minute, and that is going through the small blood vessels running around the air sacs, and the exchange occurs. So we have a perfect match. 5 liters of air, 5 liters of blood meeting each other. The oxygen pressure, which is higher in the room air than in the blood, transfers the oxygen from high to low, from the alveoli to the blood, and carbon dioxide level, which is almost non-existent in the room air, while elevated carbon dioxide level in the blood. So blood carbon dioxide travels the alveoli into the air, into the bronchi, into the alveoli, and then we exhale it. So this is a perfect match. But there could be a mismatch. That means there are areas where the air is going, but the alveoli are damaged, either because of emphysema, and then this match causes oxygen levels to drop. Contrast to that, there may be areas where the blood is going, but air is not going, like in case of blockage of the bronchial tube with mucus plugs, or pneumonia, where the lung has become solidified, air is not going, but the blood is still going. This particular mismatch causes lack of oxygen. And under those circumstances, certainly a supplementation of oxygen will help the oxygenation and probably to some extent will help the shortness of breath. But this is not 100% guaranteed. Let's take another scenario. If you can think of a train unloading packages at a railway station, and the train stops at the station for, say, 2 minutes, all the packages could be delivered from the train to the railway platform, and the passages could be reloaded on the train that needs to be sent. But if the train stops only 1 minute, now all the packages cannot be delivered to the platform, nor all packages could be loaded to the platform because the time is less. I will talk about this a little bit more because number of people working to unload and load also counts. So in case of lung, this can be construed as the heart rate, because when the heart rate goes up, the amount of time that blood comes in contact with the alveolar air is reduced. At the same time, if your hemoglobin is low, you're anemic, number of workers are less. So these two situations could also reduce the oxygen transfer. So now we are looking at oxygen transfer being hampered, and under those circumstances, use of oxygen would be helpful. Again, there are many more conditions that I want to talk to you. But for this today, this is enough. Hopefully you like and you will understand, may have some questions. We'll complete this next time. Thank you. Have a nice day. Please subscribe if you like. Thank you.